The real price of a Fortuner Legender is 25 lakh rupees, but it's being sold at a staggering 50 lakh rupees in India. And many people blame higher taxes for the expensive cars in India, but that's not entirely true. Well, this will be your sentence after watching this video. Let's say you want to buy the top model of a new Toyota Camry in India. Its ex-showroom price is 48 lakh rupees. However, in the US, a similarly equipped Camry would cost you around 30 lakh ex-showroom. Still, you somehow decided to buy it. If you purchase the car, say in Himachal Pradesh, it will cost you 53 lakh on road. But if you are from Bangalore, Karnataka, the same car would cost you an additional 7 lakh rupees. It's the same brand and model, but there are 3 different prices. Why? Still, if you think cars are expensive in India, wait, I have more to say. Over the past 5 years, the average selling price of a car has increased by over 50%, from just 7.65 lakh rupees in 2018-19 to 11.5 lakh rupees in 2023-24. Cars have become so costly that most segments are now out of reach for the average middle class family. This is also true in the luxury segment, where the average price has risen by 85% over the last 4 years to 90 lakh rupees. So this brings us to the question, why are cars so expensive in India? Car manufacturers raise their price twice a year, in January and April. So this 3 to 4% increase make cars even more expensive. If you ask auto manufacturers about this, they will say it's because of input prices. Basically, the price of the material used to make a car has increased. For reference, aluminum prices have risen 10.6% year on year, while rubber prices have surged nearly 27% year on year. On top of that, nowadays, cars have 30 to 50% of electronic components, which are mostly imported. And if you see, the Indian rupee has depreciated almost 3 to 4% over the past 6 to 7 months. What it means is that importing car components has gone up. So in response to those, car makers also increase their prices. But it's not just about input prices. The buying preferences of Indian customers have changed significantly in recent years. According to Shashank Srivastava, Senior Executive Officer, Maruti Suzuki India, there is a clear shift towards premiumization. Indian customers now prefer buying a top-end variant of the vehicle. And this percentage of buyers had increased from 27% in 2023 to 43% in 2024. As a result, the average selling price has been increasing. A Mumbai-based dealer pointed out that a few decades back, people used to run their cars for 7 to 8 years or more. But now they are replacing their cars every 3 to 4 years, thanks to the premiumization that is happening in the name of facelifts and exclusive editions, which no doubt comes with an incremental price. Apart from the premiumization and facelifts, there is another preference of Indian customers that is also impacting the price of a car, and that is an SUV. In 2023 calendar year, passenger vehicle sales crossed the record 4.1 million mark, and out of these, almost half of the vehicles that have been sold, that is almost 48.7%, were SUVs. SUV sales have grown over sedans and hatchbacks. This is a structural change, so the prices have gone up accordingly. Finally, we came to the segment you all have been waiting for, taxes. See, whenever you purchase something from the market, you pay taxes in the form of GST. Currently, there are 4 GST slabs: 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. 5% GST is levied on those items which are considered daily essentials. For example, tea, refined cooking oil and LPG cylinders. 28% GST is levied on those items that were considered luxury items like AC, refrigerators and cars. See, GST came to India on the 1st of July 2017. Before that, there used to be several taxes in India like excise duty, value added tax or VAT, octroi tax, infrastructure cess tax, etc. But after the implementation of GST, all the taxes were replaced by just one goods and service tax. But this created a major problem for the government. In the old tax structure, if there is a car worth 12 lakh rupees, the total tax on it used to be 42%. But in this new GST, there is a highest bracket of only 28%. Now if you see here, the government will incur a huge loss. Therefore, the government imposed a GST at 28%, but also imposed a cess along with it. So whatever loss the government incurred by introducing GST, it made up for it by imposing a surcharge in the name of cess. Now cess also works in a very interesting way. The government said, see, there is a lot of congestion on our roads. Therefore, we will impose more tax on long vehicles and less tax on small vehicles. So the government came up with a 4-meter rule that if the car is less than 4 meters in length, it attracts a cess ranging from 1% to 3% depending on the engine type. If a 4-meter long car has an engine less than 1200cc, it will attract a cess of only 1%. If it has an engine up to 1500cc, it will attract a cess of 3%. Passenger vehicles like Creta and Seltos are more than 4 meters in length and have engines less than 1500cc. So they attract a cess of 17%. That means the total tax on it would be 45%. And SUVs like the XUV711 Fortuner are above 4 meters in length, have engines above 1500cc and have more than 170 mm of ground clearance. So they will attract the highest cess of 22%. That means if you are buying one, you are paying a total tax of 50%. If you take our previous example of the Toyota Camry, which is a hybrid car and has a bigger engine, it will attract a cess of 15%. That means you will pay a total tax of 43%. If we compare it with the US, there is a maximum of 8.25% in tax. And in 5 states, there is absolutely no tax. That's why in the US, Toyota Camry is sold for 30 lakh rupees, whereas the same car in India is being sold for almost 50 lakhs. When you go to the showroom and the salesman tells you the ex-showroom price, they told you the price including the GST and the cess. And one more thing to note here is that the Toyota Camry is not manufactured in India. Rather, it's assembled in India. And every part that's imported has to pay an import duty. And this import duty can range from 15% to 35%. So after paying this import duty, a GST at 18% is levied on the total value, which includes the accessible value of the goods plus the import duty. This means for an imported part, GST is calculated on the sum of the cost of the parts plus the import duty, effectively taxing the import duty as well. I mean, tax on tax. Incredible. Now all this GST has to be paid by the car manufacturer, but they obviously passed all this cost to the customer. And the story isn't over yet. If you want to purchase a high-end sports car like a Ferrari or Lamborghini, since it's not manufactured in India, you have to import the car. And in this case, you will pay an import duty of 100%. And that's why luxury cars are way more expensive in India. And there is one more thing left. As soon as the car leaves the factory and reaches the customer has to pay more tax in the name of road tax. The government says that it maintains the road within state through this tax. In India, different states charge different road taxes. In Delhi, the road tax is 10.6%. In Karnataka, it is 20%. And in Himachal Pradesh, it is 6 to 7%. That's why you see the on-road price difference from state to state. And the most shocking part about road tax is that we pay road tax on a vehicle that has already been taxed through cess and GST. How crazy it is. So far we have discussed the input prices, premiumization and various taxes that are responsible for higher car prices. But most people don't notice it, but the compliance norms, be it energy, emission or safety norms, are also responsible for the price hikes. Now what are these? See, compliance norms are the rules and guidelines set by the milestones that OEMs need to follow to sell their cars in India. Now let me explain it to you with some examples. Just take the recent example of the E20 fuel norm. To match the standard, automakers had to engineer E20 fuel ready engines, and you'll be shocked to know that when the BS6 emission standards were adopted in April 2020, the prices of the cars increased by 30%. So long story short, to comply with changing regulatory stringency, automakers have to make modifications in their vehicles, which eventually lead to price hikes. So inflation, higher raw material prices, preference for SUVs, migration to safety standards and emission standards, taxes and import duties are among the top variables responsible for cars being expensive in India. That's all from today's video. I hope you found this video insightful. If yes, then please subscribe to my channel and I will see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.